Let me ask you a question. Have you ever bought a book and didn't look into the book? You just saw the book and was like, that looks like something I want to read. You get it home, and when you eventually get around to picking it up off your shelves or wherever, you're like, oh, I'm ready to read this. You find out it's not the first book in the series. It's the second, third, fourth, whatever number it is, but it's not the first. So you can't read it. And have you ever found that you've done that multiple times? I have. I have. So let me show you what I'm talking about. First up is Robert Kirkman's The Walking Dead Typhoon by Wesley Chu. And I bought this, I want to say from the Dollar Tree. I want to say that's where I saw it. Don't get me to lying, but I really do believe that's where I got this book from. And I just saw it in there and I was like, I love The Walking Dead show. Why is this in here? Let me pick it up. I did. And it wasn't the first in the series. I don't even know what number in the series this is. Next up, last year I went to the Book Outlet Warehouse and I saw this one here in there. Warrior of the Wind by Sue Davies Okamboa. And I was looking, searching. It was hot as hell. I was overstimulated, overwhelmed by the amount of people, the heat, and the selection, and the aisle size, that I could not find the first one in the series. And I knew when I got it, it wasn't the first one in the series. But I was like, oh, I can get it at another time. But I never did. So in this video, we're going to be starting series that we do not own the first books to. And the way I am going to accomplish that task is I went to the library. This is my January library haul. I went to the library and I got the first one, Son of the Storm and The Walking Dead Rise of the Governor. These two I got from the library and we're going to read these two. Now, again, for this video, no money is spent. However, we're going to read these to determine if the two that I actually bought, own, and are on my bookshelves, I need to keep. Because if I read this one and I don't like it, there's no reason to move on to the second one. It can be unhauled. And if I read this one and I don't like it, it's the same thing. These go back to the library and I get two more books off my shelves. It sounds like a good idea to me. Let's see if we can do it. So here is my 40% update into The Walking Dead Rise of the Governor. Now, on the back of the book, it says that the governor is one of the biggest, basically it says in the Walking Dead universe, there is no greater villain than the governor. And I don't think that's true. I think it has been Negan. It was always Negan. And even in here, the governor, Philip, we're going to call him Philip right now because he's not the governor at this moment. He's just Philip. Philip has run into people that have even told him, hey, there's a motorcycle gang out there that is destroying shit. So Negan was already, and it was like not even that long into the apocalypse that Negan was running shit, okay? That he was destroying shit, kicking ass and taking names. So I wouldn't say Philip is the big bad. I would always say that Negan is the big bad. But I am enjoying this. This has different POVs. We have Philip, we have his brother Brian, and we have the infamous Penny before Penny became who we saw Penny as in the show. Philip's wife has passed away in a car accident, and he hasn't been the same since. His only driving force has been Penny, and his younger brother. Well, honestly, his older brother is Brian. Brian, however, acts like his younger brother. He's smaller than him. He's more of an can't do nothing right kind of brother. So Philip, being the younger brother, acts like the older brother, is stronger like the older brother, and Brian doesn't like it. Brian's always coughing and sneezing and shit too, which is gross. But Penny is very withdrawn. And where I am at in this book, if you remember The Walking Dead, the show, where the governor actually meets Tara and her family, it is nothing like the actual story of this book because the governor, Philip, again, meets Tara and them way before Penny has even passed. So they changed it obviously for the show, but I am enjoying this though because even though Philip never came across my mind to know more about, I really didn't care. Um, Negan is a different story, but Philip never really crossed my mind to care. It is entertaining. It is very fast paced. Again, I got to 40% really quickly. Um, it is apocalyptic for sure. And like, his brother Brian is really focused on these used to be people. And you guys were taking a life so uh, without care kind of thing. And Philip immediately in this apocalyptic world is like, I don't care what they used to be, what they are now are dead, and we're going to further kill them. Right? So, and he takes joy in doing so. So we are already in the head of who the governor is going to become later on. Yeah, so I'm enjoying it. I'll let you know when I'm completely finished, because there's really nothing at this point to update you on. I do like when a book has where I'm from, where I live at, in it. So, in the very, very like first two chapters, he talks about being from Waynesboro, Georgia, and closer to, he mentioned Augusta Airport and all of that stuff. And I was like, that's that's where I'm from. So yeah, so I enjoyed that. But other than that, I'll let you know when it's all said and done and whether or not we'll be continuing the series till I get to number 9. Y'all, I'm here to tell you that I finished The Walking Dead, Rise of the Governor. I think I'm going to give it 3.54 stars. I enjoyed it. It was very fast paced. And remember, I think in the last clip, I said I thought it was Negan who was supposed to be like the biggest bad of them all. And I stand by that somewhat because with this one, you know where Philip comes from, right? You see before Penny has passed away, you see how Penny passed away. You see somewhat of a family dynamic, but there was something, I'm not going to tell you what it is here because then that would just spoil the twist of this book. But in my opinion, I felt it from the very beginning, and mind you, it gives nothing away to what the twist is going to be at all throughout this whole book. You don't even know there's going to be a twist, but I felt it, and I said it to someone else. I said, I think that's the feeling that I'm getting, that this thing is going to happen. Now, it kind of happened. It actually happened what I thought was going to happen, but it didn't happen in the way that I thought it was going to happen. So I'm ecstatic about that I called it, I felt it. But with this book, you see differences from the comics and the show. With this book, you also see the similarities of this book to the comics and to the show. And I really enjoyed it. But I think you have to be a fan of The Walking Dead in order to enjoy this. That's just my opinion, because otherwise you're wondering, why do we care about these characters? If you're a fan of The Walking Dead, you know why. you already know why. But I stand by Negan is kind of still like the biggest bad, But we do know there's some lines that Negan will never cross or has never crossed. And for that, that makes him less scary, less intimidating. Not saying he won't put Lucille up against your skull, because he will, but we know the lines that he will not cross. If you know what those lines are, put them in the comments. I'm not going to say them here, but put them in the comments if you know the lines that he will not cross. But Philip has no problems crossing those lines. So that's that. Like I said, I think I'm going to give it 3.54. I'm leaning towards a 4 because I really enjoyed it and I really enjoyed the twist. There are some trigger warnings. SA is in this book. Yeah, I really do recommend this for Walking Dead fans. I think you will have a good time. Also, this is my January library book. So I got that from the library, but I also got Son of the Storm by Sui Davies Okungbowa from the library as well, because I bought the second one, don't own the first. So this is the next one we're going to get into. So with this video, both my books come from the library. I've gone to the library in January and I'm reading books from the library. So one of my 2025 goals has been tackled. I'm happy about that. But yeah, we're going to move into Son of the Storm. Hey, y'all. So I haven't started this, but I'm about to now. I was finishing up another book that I was just reading for myself, Threads That Bind. But now it's time to get into this one. I'm actually doing some reading sprints, or watching. I'm not doing them myself, but I'm watching some reading sprints right now so that I can, it'll help me focus a little bit more on Son of the Storm, and let's get into it. I'll be back with interim thoughts. Hey y'all, we have come to the end of this video because I am going to DNF Son of the Storm by Sui Davies Okungbowa. And let me tell you what this story is basically about. It's based on skin color. So the darker you are, the more pure you are. And the lighter you are, or yellow toned you are from somewhere else, and you are kind of like cast out. But the people of today in this book have never really seen anyone yellow. And yellow means that they come from outside of the gates. So that means that a lot of people are thinking of them as fairy tales. They've never existed. It's kind of like the boogeyman kind of thing, right? But one gets into the city, and our main character, Dasso, is very curious, and he wants to help the yellow-skinned person. The problem with this book is I got into or past the first half, and part one, I guess you could say it's not broken into parts, but it is broken into sections. This part right here, I finished. I got 133 pages in, and I did not care about any of the characters. And it was boring. There were some spicy scenes that were just weird. It just wasn't for me. So I am going to DNF this. And this was a hard choice I had to make because, like you all know, I have already bought the second book. This one came from the library, and because I had the second book, I thought that if I got this one from the library, I could read this one and then go on to read this one. That means I will not go on to read this one. This series is a no for me. So that's that. But moving on, I'm gonna set these on the floor. Moving on to The Walking Dead, the first book in the Walking Dead novels, Rise of the Governor, book 1. I gave this 4 stars. I think I gave it 4 stars. Got this one as well from the library, and I enjoyed it. It was very fast paced, and there was a twist that I kind of saw coming from the very beginning, but the book didn't give you that was going to happen. I just felt it, and it's not in the show at all, so it's not like I had a heads up on it or anything. And I enjoyed being kind of right, because what I predicted kind of happened, but not in the way that I thought it would happen. But I enjoyed this a lot. Very fast paced zombies, and again, The Walking Dead is not really about the zombies, it's about the people, and this showcased that wholeheartedly. So in reading this and giving it 4 stars, I will in turn move on to the second book, which I also do not own. Hopefully I can get it from the library, and that means that for now, book 9 that I bought for no apparent reason, but I still have on my shelves, is safe for now. And maybe I'll get the second book in February from the library. That ends our I don't own the first in the series, but I own other books in the series. How many times did I say series? But again, I will not be moving on with the Nameless Republic series, which is a fantasy series, but I will be moving on with The Walking Dead. Let me know if you want to see more vlogs like this, more videos like this, because like I said, I will be moving on further in The Walking Dead, and that also means that I am unhauling one book, returning this one to the library, and that's one less book on my TBR. And like I said, I had a hard time DNFing it because I knew I owned the second one, but I did. So I can't tell you all to girl DNF that book if you're not enjoying it, if I don't do it myself. So I did it, and that's one less book I have to read, one less book on my TBR that is not what brings me joy in my reading. So therefore, we are done with the video. I will see you in the next one, which most likely will be a wrap up of January. We're very close. So I'll see you in the next one. Bye.